All right. We're back. 𝗪𝗵𝗲 Talk 2026. First 𝗪𝗵𝗲 Talk of the year. We're talking wellness when everything changes. Wellness when everything changes. And we've kind of been discussing within that the progressive leader, what that looks like, how to lead through uncertainty, stress, anxiety, and cultural turbulence. And we kind of left we took a break right after talking about the mindful manager. So the leader giving a mission, a vision, being strong, showing stability, emotional intelligence, and psychological safety within the workplace. And then the mindful manager executing with empathy, understanding that in the hybrid AI human task of managing work, that there is a differentiation. There's a difference between humans and AI agents, and the capacity and having the ability to balance that. A mindful manager can, should, needs to, right? And so part of our tools to be able to do that is project management, focuses on the technical side, and change management focuses on the human side. So we have some tools at our disposal as mindful managers to be able to manage that. The core concept, as we start talk about change management, the core concept, think of it as a bridge between how things are done now and how they'll be done in the future. And without this bridge, a company might spend millions on a new system that nobody uses because it's too confusing, or they weren't told why it matters. And that happens with any change. That's just part of that. We're specifically talking about market, industry, technology changes, cultural changes currently. But this aspect of change management activities is typical. You're going to have folks that don't understand why we're changing, or opposed to changing, may decide to leave or quit, or the organization decides to retire them or fade their positions out because of that change management activity. And that's always the fear. You, as a consultant, going into an organization and you are implementing, you have been acquired to conduct, change management services. This is always the tension with the human side is, why do I need to change? Why is this relevant? I don't know how to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't know why I'm doing it. And who are you? I've been doing this for a long time. And who are you to be able to tell me how to do this job, or to make suggestions in regards to how things should be. And so there's always that tension there that you have to manage in an intelligent way and with empathy, right? And so this is why businesses use it. And this is a time that everyone should be talking about change management. I don't hear it enough because this is why businesses use it for this particular time and this particular reason why businesses use it, right? They use it to reduce resistance. Reduce resistance. People naturally fear the unknown. Change management uses, or is supposed to use, clear communication to calm those fears, right? So clarity about answering all the questions that they may have. So people naturally fear the unknown. We all do. You know, there's people, we all do. I want to know on the schedule. I want to know everything. I got a plan in the plan, on top of the plan, 5 plans in a bigger plan. So yeah, I want to know. I'm one of those individuals as well. Change management uses clear communications to calm those fears. Businesses use it because of the speed of adoption. So it helps individuals to speed faster through training and support. So if they understand how a particular change is going to impact their work and they're trained and supported through that, it speeds up adoption, gets everybody on board. I had that many times with technology training, and the training materials are key to that as well. Training materials and then additional support after the training, right? So businesses use it because it protects productivity. It prevents the chaos that often happens when a major shift disrupts daily routines, and that's happening as we speak. All of our routines are being disrupted. all of our workflows are being disrupted. Whether we're conscious of it or not, all of our workflows are being disrupted and will continue to be disrupted as AI is being adopted in every industry. And so change management should be used to pace humans through that. Yeah. So how can we explain this process? In an analogy, 3 words or 3-step view. Unfreeze. Prepare everyone for the change by explaining why and breaking old habits. I don't know about the breaking of the old habits. Explaining why is going to be much easier, but individuals, that's an individual thing. But you can, as much as possible, as a mindful manager, prepare individuals for the change by explaining the why. Change, move to the new way of working by providing training and support. And so we indicated that previously. Once it's been explained why you're doing that, then conduct that change in a structured way, so that individuals that you are charting through that change kind of can understand or have a a roadmap. I don't use the word map, but um, there's step through it in a structured way, right? You can at least do that. And even if they chart through it in a structured way and you only get halfway through because things have changed again, that's okay. Because at least you have a milestone of each change that comes through. You know, okay, we got to the third step on that one. We got to the fourth step on this one. We got to the fifth step on that one. And even though there's a lot of change happening, you could at least be able to map and chart the things that you tried, the things that didn't work, and why you changed and why it didn't work, and where you're going next. But if you're doing everything piecemeal in a very chaotic way, it's hard to justify, and it's hard to get folks to get on board every time. They're just like, okay, what's going on again? What's today going to bring? What are we doing today? What are we doing today? So even through this market where change is constant, you can still have a structured way to kind of move through it so that it's not chaotic at a pace that it's impactful, right? Our organization may not move through a particular change like larger organizations do, because their budgets are different than ours. And then we can move a little bit more agile and make different changes that maybe large companies can't do. So just know where you are within that spectrum and work through that. So unfreeze. Prepare everyone. Explain the why. Then within the change itself, I would add to this a plan, of course. To be a change management plan. There has to be a change management plan, right? And so in that change management plan is training, there's support, and a schedule, infrastructure as to how you're going to work through that. Refreeze, then lock in this new normal. I don't like to use the word habits because those sound so personal. Personal habits has to be debunked by the individual. But when it comes to systems and structures, we could put that in place and chart folks through those. That's my personal take on that. So change management has to happen, needs to happen, should be part of any implementation plan. Should have some change management activities, and those activities should be agile, short term, and have an infrastructure for long-term activities as well. So I may have to come back and do something what that might look like, right? But I have some other stuff to talk about today. So after change management, which is the mindful manager is implementing change management activities. Then the next subject is the Calm Culture Project, Wellness, when everything changes, right? We finally get into the good stuff. So wellness, nothing broken, nothing missing, wholeness. This is the goal. It's going to be different for each individual is going to be different. Some of the things that are normally in wellness programs, of course, healthcare, but outside of that, sports, arts, um, acting, woodshop, drawing, music, dance, and faith. These all impact us emotionally, mentally, relationally, physically, and spiritually. Give us relief, remedy, and are logical responses. So when we indicate that the universal language of love, the universal language of spiritual management, and even the universal language of AI integration, never knew those books were going to stack that way. But they are so appropriately placed in that in this culture, industry, and market where change is happening so rapidly, they are so intricately placed in that wellness comes forefront to mind as we embrace new technology and the younger generations are mobile first already. They're already mobile first. Generations are coming, going to be AI first. And so addressing the human aspect, our humanity, I guess that's one would say, addressing our humanity in the adoption and integration of AI becomes more important. And so I think a book like The Universal Language of Love and then the universal language of spiritual management are going to be really intricately placed, and the timing for those are just dead on, right? For this time in history. This time in history. So I'm really excited about that. The Universal Language of Love, you can purchase that now. Book has been completed. Just had the launch this past Monday. Yeah, wow, yeah. And working on the other, the universal language of spiritual management and the universal language of artificial intelligence integration. And the reason that I'm bringing up these resources, right, is that this is part of what we call a wellness program. We're making these books part of our wellness program resources. And our clients are school districts, universities, and municipalities are part of our target market. And so these books can be a part of the school district library, the university library, and municipality public libraries. The first four, the Universal Language of Management series, that's the Universal Language of Project Management, Core Systems Management, Asset Life Cycle Management, and Nonverbal Communications Management, are in the public libraries, in the online digital library. It already to be, you can view those or check those out digitally. And it comes forefront to mind as this month there's some Texas schools, the SB 11, are navigating these new faith-based options. March 1st is the deadline. The Texas school boards are deciding how or if they will implement a daily period for voluntary prayer and religious study under the Senate Bill 11. Under the new law, the districts have the authority to include not just the Bible, but other religious texts. This flexibility allows for more inclusive approach, incorporating works like the Universal Language of Love, the Universal Language of Spiritual Management, and even the Universal Language of AI integration would not be a religious text, but it still can be a text available within those settings. And so the students and families who connect with themes of spiritual unity and compassion have the ability to acquire or to have these books available through the school district. Those that go through that voting process, there is a process, right? So the key implementation pillars to be able to implement that, the school board has to decide which texts are appropriate for their community, right? So it has to be submitted for approval. The participation is strictly opt-in. Students have to have written consent and liability waivers. Then the readings must take place away from non-consenting students and cannot use school intercoms, right? So there is some preparation and some planning that has to go into this that is over and beyond what the school districts do already. And so as districts move to approve or not these policies, the focus remains on balancing religious expression with the diverse student body, right? And so when implementing the Universal Language of Love in this type of setting, we are encouraging the use of texts like the Universal Language of Love in these settings, whether it's the school district, whether it's the university, or whether it's the public library. The Universal Language of Management series has always been an advocate for having texts like the ones we are producing in those settings, so that there's nothing different. Even though, this is very controversial, different ways to view this, our position is the same prior to the pandemic and now after the pandemic. We have always pursued opportunities in this respect. And I think um, that the information and the content and the way that it's presented, and particularly the universal language of love, is would be really um, well received in a classroom setting at the school districts, and um, the spirit to which the content is delivered um, speaks to uh, the kind of spiritual unity and compassion you want to have at the school district level, right? Um, we need to reach our students in that, when we talked about previously, that surface level wellness. We need to deep dive. And I think that uh, subtle ways like the universal language of love, where you make it fun and interesting. I think it was fun. I would have fun. You revamp the exercises for your generation. But I had fun. I had so much fun. But you can revamp the activities for the younger generation. So it translates to their kind of fun. But in any case, I'm an advocate for this. I really want us to pursue this strongly. And I think that the information um, within the universal language of love um, falls within those guidelines and could be a real make a real impact within the school districts to which it is distributed. So I'm excited about that. But um, lots of talk about it um, from one side and the other. Um, but that is our position and our the way that we are thinking about it. How can we change lives? How can we be of service? And how can we extend our reach um, and be of more service to the clients we are already serving? And we have already been in line doing activities like that already. Like I said, our books are already in the public libraries. We already have contracts with school districts, university municipalities, and our book materials are part of those contracts. And so we are already in line doing those things. And so, yeah, we're an advocate for this. And we think that there is some good there. Um, our teachers um, have a lot to manage within the classroom, and the challenges there do not go unnoticed. um, and I do not have stats on how this will impact um, those daily schedules. Um, what our position is, as it always has been, just to provide those materials and resources as a support to the school district, and to be able to do that in a faith-based way. We have never been able to do that before. Most of our books are technical, and the original 4 books in the Universal Language Management series are technical in nature, to be able to bring uh, the faith-based books to the school district is exciting. That's an exciting opportunity and development, and one we had not pursued before. And so now that's kind of opening opportunities and ideas, and um, being able to do that is just, it's just like, wow. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, so lots to talk about that, and that's relevant to conversation because we're talking about wellness. And the premise of the universal language of love is that true wellness, wholeness, nothing broken, nothing missing, um, is foundational to our faith in God. And so um, we can't dance it away. We can't exercise it away, you know, but by connection um, with God, then we truly become whole. Whereas nothing's missing, nothing broken, and we can truly become well. And when all is well, yeah, that's when everything changes. Right? So that's the punchline. When all is well, that's when everything changes. But that uh, won't happen through things that are superficial. That only will happen with things that are supernatural. Oh my goodness. Woo. Woo. Oh my goodness. I think I got a second one right there. Yeah, it's supernatural. And so I'm excited about bringing that supernatural into um, into the conversation um, uh, as we serve owners, managers, and administrators. And in particularly, we're talking about in this segment administrators, those in school districts, universities, and municipalities, which it was um, for us. We didn't have an opportunity to do that, and to have an opportunity to do that now, it's like yes, it's like yeah. So to recap, because I think that was yeah. To recap, um, the resilient workplace is where for longevity. Engineered for longevity. Within that is having a resilient workplace. Um, our work is being disrupted, but it will, how we do work will be changing. So the resilient workplace is involves the progressive leader, that that stabilizing force, given psychological safety, decisiveness, clarity, emotional intelligence, conducting fatigue test, right, and implementing vision and mission, and then the mindful manager who understands that understands the difference between AI and a human. No, that sounds like a given, but when it comes to workflows, there's a sensitivity that we have to have for humans that we may not give to AI, no matter how much we program it to talk like us or to act like someone else. And so, how we lead and how we manage, we should make a conscious effort and structure it in a way that we are being attentive to the uh, the moment and the nature of, um, of the problems that we're facing in this industry, in this market, in the culture today. So the progressive leader, the mindful manager, and then project management, focusing on the technical side, and the change management, focusing on the human side, having plans. I'm a planner. I'm a planner. So you're gonna have to have plans for both of those to reduce resistance, speed up adoption, and then to protect productivity. So you're not. There will be some circle rounding about in a in a circle. It's like you started over again because things are changing so fast. So it feels like we're starting all over again, and some of that will be happening. But you still can structure that rotation so that you can at least know that if you have to pick an idea back up where you left off on it with some, if you have an infrastructure in place, you can come back to it where you left off and be able to pick it up with some clarity as to how you want to change it and how you want to move forward with it. And so dealing with the people, change management, preparing everyone that unfreeze, change, and refreeze. Unfreeze, change, and refreeze. Unfreeze, change, and refreeze. That's that rotation. Okay. Unfreeze. We're going to change something. Okay. Let's test it. See if it works. It's not working. Let's scrap that. Unfreeze. Again, change. Okay. Freeze. This is what we're doing. That's the frustration. That's the tension of the frustration at this moment with workflows. So we're not, yes, that's happening. It's going to happen. Prepare for it. Manage your way through it. Okay. And then implementing a wellness program. We talked about what we consider, the resources that we're providing in terms of wellness programs. And every organization has their wellness program, and it usually involves healthcare and packages on top of that. This is not that. This is not that. That's not our wheelhouse, and we're kind of staying in our wheelhouse. This is out of the educational consulting division of the firm, Gamma Learning, and the Universal Language of Management series is a product and service out of that division, and it's educational in nature. And these sets of books are the second phase of the Universal Language of Management series. The first 4 books are technical in nature. These 2 of the books are spirit, faith-based books. And then the Universal Language of AI integration is will be technical in nature as well, but very relevant to the series. So we introduced sort of our resources for wellness programs and how they'd be applicable to some of the clients that we serve, and of course, public agencies, faith-based organizations. That's a given. That's a given. That doesn't even have to be pitched or explained. But I did want to take time to explain to our client base currently, and those who may come on as a client in that particular target, target market of administrators, school districts, universities, and municipalities, how these books fit into some of the narratives that have been discussed predominantly this month at board meetings, trustee meetings, and council meetings, possibly, as decisions are being made on faith-based options. So we have some faith-based options. I guess I would say we have faith-based options as part of the wellness program. Okay. So, but yeah, mindful managers and progressive leaders within the change management plans are going to include calm culture projects, wellness programs, and whatever that may look like for your organization. It'll be different for every organization. You'll have to chart what that's going to look like, and what, according to your teams, your organizational makeup, what makes sense, right? So just wanted to share the resources we have in that respect and how we are positioning ourselves to serve owners, managers, administrators in that area. It's new for us, so we'll keep you posted as things evolve. So that is the wellness. When everything changes, we want to talk about that. So that is our BOMAC talk for today. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to talk about on this. So BOMAC talk 2026, we're back. If this is your first time to BOMAC talk, this is a discussion series hosted by 𝗪𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 LLC. It focuses on the intersection of management, technology, community, and future industry trends. And so it serves as a platform for professionals, innovators, and thought leaders to explore topics such as business operations, digital transformation, and project management, right? So key aspects of BOMAC talk is sometimes we have discussions, it's subject matter discussions center around system integration, which is huge, for us, trends in technology, and our target audience is owners, managers, and administrators, most looking to improve organizational complexity and their workflows. The format are just basic talks. In the past, we've had interviews and those types of things. I don't know if we'll be doing that this year. But if you have logged on to Blog Talk Radio to listen to us, it's no more. And we don't use SoundCloud anymore. We've been on YouTube for a while now. So you can catch up on some of the old BOMAC talk sessions. This is our first one in about maybe 9 months or so. So BOMAC talk 2026. I guess we're back. First BOMAC talk of 2026, wellness, when everything changes. All right. We're signing off.